Hi, and welcome to the Heal Yourself Online Retreat. I'm Lisa Engel Franklin, and I'm a certified advanced ISA Money Light Code practitioner, and I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for joining us. I'm here today with my special guest, Daniel Wolfert. And Daniel's going to talk about a little bit about himself, about his background, and the type of work he does, and how he helps people. Thank you, Daniel, for being part of the Heal Yourself Online Retreat.
All right. Thank you, Lisa, for that introduction and for inviting me to be a part of the Heal Yourself online seminar. I'm very proud to be a part of this event. I guess first I should tell you a little bit about myself. I grew up in a small town in Wisconsin called Sheboygan, and when I was 20 years old, I moved to Dallas, Texas to pursue a career in broadcasting. My first job was at a radio station where I was an on air announcer. I guess you could say DJ. I spun records and did announcements and PSAs, all that kind of stuff. And eventually I became the news director there. And after a little while, that radio station opened a television station, and they invited me to move to the television station and to train in any job that I wanted. So I chose to train in them all. Thought it would be a great way to get some experience. So first of all, I started off working in the master control, which is just, I don't know, if you know anything about television stations, you'll know what master control is. If you don't know anything about television stations, you won't care. So then I became a videographer and a television reporter, and after a little while, I became a program host. And there's probably a couple other things I did that I'm forgetting, but that job led to a job at a company that was producing nationwide cable programs. And this job involved a lot of travel. And again, it was a situation where you had to be multi-talented. I did videography, I did voiceover work, I did editing, and then, of course, traveling out to the various locations and directing episodes for the show, for the different shows, I should say, because they produced quite a few. And my favorite one that I worked for was Resort Showcase. Great opportunity to travel to some of the most beautiful resorts in the world and produce a video segment there. After a while, I decided to open my own company, so I moved to Los Angeles, in particular Long Beach, California, and I had my own company where we did commercials, we did voiceover work, we did writing. I'm probably forgetting a few things, so I'm glancing over here at my notes. Photography, website work, and just for fun, I did a couple of acting and modeling gigs and even made my own independent film. So after doing that for quite a while, I decided it was time to retire. I was 50 years old, so I bought an RV and I headed out on the road to enjoy this country and to pursue my great loves of hiking, canoeing, motorcycle riding, all that kind of good stuff. And eventually bought my own piece of property out here in Arizona, where I'm at right now, by the way. All of my life, I've been interested in rediscovering the esoteric knowledge of the ancients concerning energy manipulation and how our thoughts create reality. When I retired at age 50 to travel around and enjoy the country in my RV, my curiosity only intensified. And after doing much more research, it only seemed natural that I should write a book that would chronicle my own experiences, um, and all of the knowledge that I had gained through various studies I had done. I've always been involved in helping people expand their consciousness, raise their vibration, and connect with source energy in some sort of way. There's just something inside of me that compels me to do this. You could call it my mission, if you will. When I retired, I had the time to pursue writing and teaching on a broader scale. At first, it was through social media posts where I would write short articles and create memes combining my photography and some of the things that I was learning. And then at some point, I got the idea to collect those memes into a collection and write them all down. And I discovered that there was a flow to them, and that this flow could be organized into a book. So I started writing the book MENTAGENESIS, which is now available on Amazon.com, along with the audio version, which is also available there. And currently, I'm writing a weekly blog at mentagenesis.blog that is continuing the MENTAGENESIS exploration and exposition, and even we're branching out into a lot of different topics there that are consciousness expanding, vibration raising, and designed to connect people with Source. Now I'd like to bring you a little quote from Hippocrates, who was also one of those ancient Greeks, and he's probably the most famous doctor in the world because the Hippocratic Oath is named after him. And the Hippocratic Oath is something that every modern physician must swear to abide by, that they will do no harm, and they will always do things that are in the best interest of their patients. I don't have it here in front, but I do have this quote from Hippocrates. If you are not your own doctor, you are a fool. What? So here again we have one of these wise ancient Greeks, probably one of the smartest men that ever lived, telling us that we have the ability to heal ourselves. And Hippocrates was a big believer, as am I, in preventative medicine. And in actually one of the other quotes we have from Hippocrates is, "Our food should be our medicine, and our medicine should be our food." It seems the father of Western medicine was a naturopath, and he believed in the prevention of disease by eating good foods, by having a healthy diet, and by living a healthy lifestyle. Another quote from Hippocrates is as follows: "Before you heal someone, ask him if he's willing to give up the things that made him sick." And of course, we all know that our modern diet contains many substances that are not good for our overall health and well-being, and we just need to get these things out of our diet. Hippocrates knew that caring for and communicating with our body is the key to good health. Our body is designed to speak to us when we're doing something that isn't going to promote our overall health and well-being. That's why we get a hangover when we drink too much. That's why we lose energy and vitality and put on fat when we eat foods without nutritional value. That's why we decline in strength and mobility when we become a couch potato and neglect exercise. That's why we shouldn't take prescriptions that have side effects. All these things are our body speaking to us. Are you listening, or are you ignoring the warnings? Today, even with the ridiculous amount of pharmaceutical products that are available to us, modern human health is in decline. Cancer rates are way up. Heart disease has soared. Diabetes is on the rise. Illnesses do not come upon us out of the blue. They are developed from small daily sins against nature. When enough sins have accumulated, illnesses will suddenly appear. Oh, Hippocrates, why must you be such a party pooper? We modern humans are addicted to our feel-good drugs, our sugar, our low-nutrition carbs, our caffeine, our nicotine, and our processed, poison-loaded convenience foods. We want fast results when we go to the doctor to alleviate the diseases these bring to our body. And if the drugs our doctors prescribe bring more illness, we'll just take more chemicals to relieve those symptoms. Who cares if this leaves us dangerously overweight and too sick to enjoy life? We have disability insurance to cover that, not to mention big comfy couches and multiple entertainment options to distract us from our miserable, immobile condition. One more quote from Hippocrates. Can't get enough of this guy. He says, "The greatest medicine of all is teaching people how not to need it." This guy rocks. Hippocrates was a true physician. He cared about his patients' well-being. He wanted them to enjoy their life from youth to old age. Metagenesis is all about teaching people how to use higher consciousness meditation and energy manipulation to create their preferred reality. And of course, this includes enjoying good health. Over the course of my life, I've discovered several self-healing techniques that I teach and elaborate on in the book and in the blog. So let me give you a brief introduction to Metagenesis self-healing techniques. First of all, we've got to go back, way back to ancient Greece to realize that this is lost esoteric knowledge. The ancients knew about these techniques. And so we're going to start with a quote from Plato where he says, "Reality is created by the mind. We can change our reality by changing our mind. And then we're going to go to a quote from William James, someone who is regarded to be the father of American psychology. Believe, and your belief will create the fact. All right, now moving on, we're going to go to a quote from Nikola Tesla, who I'm a big fan of, who can be considered the genius inventor of the modern world. Tesla says, "If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration." When Albert Einstein was a young man, he was often flattered and called the most intelligent man in the world. And when he was asked, "How does it feel to be the most intelligent man in the world?" he said, "I don't know. Ask Nikola Tesla." So later in his life, Einstein decided that some of his earlier presumptions about the universe were wrong, and this is what he had to say. "Concerning matter, we have been all wrong. What we called matter is energy whose vibration has been so lowered as to be perceptible to the senses. Matter is spirit reduced to the point of visibility." And then he also said, "Reality is merely an illusion, albeit a very persistent one." So from these quotes, we have some of the most intelligent people who ever lived telling us that the reality that we are all experiencing is an illusion, and that everything is actually composed not of matter, but of energy, and that includes our bodies. So it only makes sense that if our bodies are actually energy, only disguised as matter, we want to go to the source. We want to go to source energy, because energy is the most healing and restorative agency that could be employed. So now let's jump back quickly to Plato, where he said reality is created by the mind. And if we want to change our reality, we change our mind. And remember, thoughts are energy. So what we are seeing is that both the modern and ancient geniuses realized that our thought energy can affect our physical bodies, can affect our reality, can affect what we are experiencing in the material world. Now let's look at a quote from Michael Bernard Beckwith, author of Spiritual Liberation. He says, "Everything is energy. Everything in existence is part of an interconnected web of electromagnetic vibrational frequencies. Spiritually, this web of energy is known as a life source that connects all creation." Now here's a quote from Louise Hay, author of You Can Heal Yourself and the Power is Within You. "The body, like everything else in life, is a mirror of our inner thoughts and beliefs. Every cell within your body responds to every single thought you think and every word you speak." All of this brings us to the work of the renowned cellular biologist, Dr. Bruce Lipton. The long-held scientific paradigm is that our DNA is static and determines our physicality. Basically, you're stuck with what you get from your parents and ancestors. However, epigenetics, a new theory championed by cellular biologist Dr. Bruce Lipton, PhD, proposes that our DNA is not static, but rather is activated and programmed by our beliefs. He says so many of us are leading limited lives, not because we have to, but because we think we have to. A person's perception, not genetic programming, is what spurs all action in the body. It's actually our beliefs that select our genes, that select our behavior. Perception is awareness shaped by belief. Beliefs control perception. Rewrite beliefs and you rewrite perception. Rewrite perception and you rewrite genes and behavior. I am free to change how I respond to the world, so as I change the way I see the world, I change my genetic expression. We are not victims of our genes, we are masters of our genetics. We are not victims of our genes, we are masters of our genetics. Let me bring you now a little excerpt from MENTAGENESIS that more fully explains the mind-body energy connection. So here again we have emerging science supporting the concept that we are what we believe, and that by changing what we believe, we can change who we are, not only in mind, but in body. The implications of this are immense. Are all the physical limitations we experience only the product of our beliefs? Can we conquer all disease by conquering the thoughts that promote and allow it? I believe everything around us is being affected by our frequency and level of consciousness. The higher our existential density, the more we are controlling our reality. This also activates our DNA, which is designed to mirror our conscious beliefs. We are not slaves to our genes. Consciousness rules over them. Therefore, to me, it logically follows that our mindset can make us impervious to infection, hereditary illness, and even genetic disorders. Speaking has the additional vibrational power of sound energy, which directly interacts with the vibrational frequency of the universe. Watch what you say, even in jest, because the universe is listening. Most of us are totally unaware of how many negative verbal professions we make each day, statements that reinforce in our reality what we don't want. I've found this is especially true in matters of health. We should never own a disease or illness, but instead we should always declare that we are healing from any physical challenge we face. So in conclusion, I'd just like to say that I've received some benefits from researching and writing the book MENTAGENESIS, Free Your Mind to Create Your Future, which is available on Amazon.com. And the biggest benefit is probably that I've been able to become my own primary care physician, able to diagnose and heal myself when I experience the symptoms of illness or disease. If I told you the level of physical activity that I'm able to engage in, it would sound like bragging. You probably wouldn't believe it, especially if I also told you my age. Now, another benefit is that as I've seen other people adopt these teachings and put them into practice, their health has increased. They're experiencing more healthy lives also. And it's just such a joy to see them move from a place of bad health and declining physical abilities into a world where they are really enjoying life and able to do all of those things that they love to do. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this little video I've made, and I hope it's inspired you to take charge of your health. If you want to stay connected with me, you can follow me on Facebook, and that address is simply facebook.com/daniel.wolfert. And each week I'm posting new helpful articles on mentagenesis.blog. It's free to all with no subscription or membership fee. Thank you for listening, and remember what Socrates said, "The mind is everything. What you think, you become."